Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Big D's and Liam's Custom Garage. I'm Big D.
And I'm Liam.
Sorry we missed you guys last week. We had a little bit of stuff going on, but we're back this week. Please make sure to watch this video all the way through until the end, because we have very important information to tell you guys in today's outro. In today's video, I'm going to show you guys how to install the cam and our gear drive in the 350. So let's not waste any time and jump right into that. So here we go. Okay guys, so what we are going to do is install the camshaft. So again, this is our camshaft. If you guys do not remember what the lift is on this cam, again, it is a 508 lift on the exhaust side and a 487 lift on the intake side. With a 1.5 ratio rocker arm, and the duration on the intake is 234. That's how long the valve is open. And on the exhaust it is 244. Okay, now for those of you that have never done this before, right here is cam assembly lube. I know you guys don't see my whole face in the picture, and you won't, and I apologize for that. Anyway, so right here is the assembly lube. Okay, before we move on, okay, not to change subject, but we need you guys to watch today's video all the way through, because at the end of today's video, during our normal sit-down outro, we have some very extremely important news that we need to give you all. So please watch the rest of this video all the way through so you can get all that information. It is extremely important information, so please, today's video, watch it all the way through so you can get the important information to come at the end. Now, back to our cam install. You're going to take the camshaft assembly loop that is supplied with the camshaft. It does come in the camshaft kit with the spec card and all that stuff, and proper break-in procedures, so you need to read your instructions that you get when you order your particular cam, because it gives you proper break-in procedures and stuff like that. So make sure you read through all of your instructions like that, so you assemble everything right and you don't have a motor eat itself from the inside out. So anyway, you're going to take your assembly loop, and you're going to, this is a bit messy by the way, you're going to take that assembly loop and you are going to literally smear coat this whole entire camshaft from one end to the other, covering the lifter lobes and your bearing surfaces all the way back to your distributor drive gear. So you're going to literally take this stuff and just coat this whole thing before you install it. And that's what we are going to do right now. And again, like I said, this is a very messy step, but it is a must do. It's got to have all the proper lubrications on it. Now this stuff, believe it or not, looking at it, and I'm not saying it's the same, so don't misquote me on this, but visually looking at this product, it looks a lot like the ARP assembly loop. Not saying it is, just saying visually that's what it looks like. Okay, we got it all spaced out of the tube now, as you guys can see. Set this right here on my leg, on top of a shop towel, of course. Now, I'm doing this so you guys can see what I'm doing. So now you're going to take your grease and just get it all over your hands. Just coat everything. And you're going to try to coat it very well, because this helps with the cam break-in, it helps with the lifter break-in, and all that stuff. It's very, very important stuff here, guys. So, I know I sound like a broken record explaining this, but I've seen too many people make this mistake, and literally within the first 10 minutes of starting up a freshly built motor, that motor's completely trashed. Because they will literally eat themselves from the inside out. So, again, make sure you are very, very ginger with all this stuff. Just coat it. Now, I do not have a cam install tool, and 90% of you don't. But what you can do is take a long bolt, stick it in one of the holes where your timing gear or timing chain bolts to. You got it, basically you need it as a support rod, okay? And I'm gonna show you why now. Okay, so you gotta have the support rod, because as you are installing your cam into your motor, which is what we're doing, you have to be very, very careful. Go slow from journal to journal. You do not want to nick one of your new cam bearings. So, support with one hand, then use your nut back here, or your bolt back here, with your other hand as a support brace. Basically, you're keeping the nose of the camshaft on plane. You don't want it dropping down and hitting stuff. So you just go very slow. Okay, we're past our first two bearings. We're getting ready to go into our third. Very carefully. Also, it helps it sometimes if you kind of rotate it back and forth like you're turning it. It helps it hit them bearings even easier. Okay. Getting there. Come on. Okay. There she goes. Okay. Now, we're to the end of the cam, and again, as you're going, trying to make sure that you got it all on there. Now there is other ways to do this that are a little less messy. You can literally take your assembly loop, start it on the end of your cam that goes in the motor first, and as you're installing the cam, take a pause like this, lube up your next section, but you know, to each his own, okay? All right. Now, this is where this bolt comes into play, because this is the last little section. So your hands are going to be relying primarily on this mount, okay? keep that in mind. Okay, go back past that bearing now. There she goes. Push and turn, push and turn. All right. Now, our cam's installed. When installing your timing chain, okay, or a timing gear drive setup like we have, there is dots on your bottom gear, and there will be a dot on your top gear. Let me show you that on the top gear here. See if it focuses enough. Anyway, there is a dot right there by my finger, if you guys can see that, right there, okay? That's your timing mark. There's one on the smaller bottom gear. After you install these, before you install your chain / your center gear, this one will face down, and the smaller gear on the crank, that one will face straight up. You have to get these perfectly aligned with each other. And I mean perfectly aligned, okay? So, first things first, we've already got our crank gear on here. So, our top gear. You'll see the cam has a dowel pin sticking out in the center. That is a alignment hole for this center hole here. So you just put that like that, okay? And that helps you align your camshaft, like so. But before you do that, you have to grab your locking tab / bolt assembly, lay it in place, because it also has a tab hole, okay? And take it, put it on, and try to start your bolts slightly, just a thread or two so they don't fall out on you. Okay. There you go. Then you just make sure that it's on its dowel rod, which it is, and all that good stuff, and then just start tightening everything down. Now, this hole in the center here, guys, is where your cam button goes. Now, we will not be installing this yet because we are not installing the cam timing cover yet. But what this does is, it's a two-piece thing with a shaft down the middle and a bearing in the middle, and it holds it together. What it is it goes right here in this hole. It just sits in there. And this is your timing cover. Normally would be like this, okay, on the front of your motor. But on the back side, what this button does is it rides right here, okay, on the face of the timing cover, and it keeps the cam from walking out, okay? Because the cam's not held in with bolts or anything, it just floats in there. So you use this cam button, and it keeps the cam where it needs to be, okay? All right, yeah, let's get these bolts tightened down here. Okay guys, sorry about that. I don't know where the video cut off. Anyway, this is your timing chain installed, all right? Or your timing gear drive installed. The difference between a gear drive and a timing chain setup is a timing chain will stretch over time, where a gear drive will not. Downfalls to having a gear drive though is they are straight cut gears, which means they whine. So if you like the sound of psyching people out and making them think at car shows or whatever, or at a stoplight, that you have a supercharger, this will accomplish that, because that is basically what they sound like. They whine to where it sounds like you're running an old school blower slash supercharger under your hood. So you have to get used to that. If you don't mind the whine, you're good. So this will never stretch, it will never go out of time. Okay? So now that you guys have seen me install that, I'm going to tighten down these bolts right here. Now that the gear's in place, I can do that. Okay. And then you've got these tabs here that bend up and go up against the face or the sides of your bolts to keep them from backing out, okay? Now that is going to do it for today's install. This is going to be it for a little while on the 350. We have literally reached a stopping point until I have the cylinder heads. I cannot go on more with this assembly because I can't put the lifters in and the rockers and the push rods in without having the heads on. Can't install the intake manifold and carburetor and distributor without having the heads on. So we are literally now at a stopping point until I got cylinder heads, which I should have very, very shortly. Okay, so we will see you guys right back here in just a second to do our outro. Again, watch the outro all the way through. We have very, very important information that all of you need to know, okay? So I will see you in just a second. Hey everybody, welcome back. Hope you guys enjoyed that part of today's video. Well, here's the news part of what we need to let you guys know that's important. We're going to be taking some time off. We're not going away. We will be coming back. We have a family member that is going to be having a major surgery procedure done and going to need our care. So that is going to require quite a bit of our time. So we're going to be taking some time away for a while to address that. However, in our spare time, even though we won't be filming, we will still be occasionally working on Project Apocalypse and Project Dark Matter, getting them done. Those are also going to be sped up during the time off. By the time we come back to you guys, both those vehicles will be same as done. That way our focus can be back on Project Void and Project Dark Sin like we were originally, so we can get those up and going and racing. But yeah.
So we're going to still be putting out some videos here, and we're also going to be putting out pictures on our Instagrams and Facebook and everything like that. So please follow all the links in the description, and please don't unsubscribe. We're still going to be putting out periodic updates when we can.
Yes, there just ain't going to be consistent videos anytime, all the time, for the time being, because of what we have going on. but we will keep you guys updated. Also, during this time off, we're going to be doing some revamping to the channel. Liam is going to be working on a entirely new intro for the channel, possibly a new outro as well.
Yeah.
Also, when we come back, we have our first two set up already, but one of the things for you guys to look forward to when we come back, we're going to start doing once a month guest appearances from people that have vehicles that they're going to come on the channel, and we're going to show their vehicles and they're going to tell you guys about them in detail.
And we'll have a special name and stuff like that for those type of videos, so you know when those pop up.
Yes, but our main focus is when we come back to you guys, we want to be able to have an equal amount of content of working and playing. All you guys have gotten this year is just working, and to be honest with you guys, that ain't working anymore.
Yeah.
No pun intended. So we're going to get the off-road vehicles up to par while we are off. That way, when we come back to you guys, we will have working videos of the race cars and playing videos in the off-road vehicles. We are looking also into better microphones, stuff like that. So yes, we are taking some time off, but we will be giving you guys occasional updates and progress pictures. But until we come back, we will see you guys very soon. I am Big D.
And I'm Liam.
And we're out.